Testing 1, 2, 3. Nate, can you do a little mic check?
Do a little mic check.
Unique New York. Say unique New York.
Unique New York.
This is the Said No One Ever podcast, a podcast about things you never knew you wanted to hear about. I'm your host, Martin Moore. Let's get into it. As we wind down season 3, I am super jacked for this episode. It's not too often I get to do an episode where I get to personally sort of ensconce myself in the conversation that's so close to me, which is visual storytelling, because we got a guy on this episode, Nate Vomhof, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest visual storytellers of this current generation in Milwaukee. He is a full-time pharmacist, a photographer, and a visual storyteller for Milwaukee. Dude, I'm so happy to have you on this show and nerd out just over this city and sort of how, you and I have gone about and go about telling our stories and sharing our, what we see through social media and through the camera lens. And so why don't you just introduce yourself, let people who don't know who you are know a little bit about you, what you do.
Yeah, okay. So my name's Nate Vomhof. I am a pharmacist by day, and then I also do photography and try to enjoy
Very
the
good
city.
photography.
Hey, I'm trying to stay humble here, okay?
Brag.
Yeah. But yeah, so I do photography for the city, and then spend all my time at Walgreens.
So how did you even get, let's just back up a bunch. How did you even get started with photography? And do you normally just shoot more with your drone or with an actual camera, like feet planted on the ground?
So I've always been kind of creative.
Sure.
But in going to pharmacy school, that's a very different part of your brain that you're using.
Oh, yeah.
It's very scientific, very fact-based.
Yeah.
So when I was in pharmacy school, I kind of picked up a camera. I was doing my last rotation of pharmacy school at the Navajo Res out west.
Where's that?
Arizona.
Okay.
New Mexico area.
Sure.
Yeah. So I went out there, decided I needed to have a nice camera in order to capture the American Southwest. Because there's nothing better,
Right.
So being out there, I picked up a camera, and then I was trolling around the city just to learn how to use it before I went. And then when I came back, I decided, let me keep doing this thing, keep trying it out. And then there were a lot of other people in Milwaukee shooting, and I was like, this is cool. Like, there's kind of a community here going on. And then from there, my old roommate had a drone. So I was like, drones are kind of cool. Let me pick one up.
Every child's dream.
Yeah. So I picked up a drone, and then people were just in awe of the different angles and perspectives you can capture the city with.
Yeah.
So ever since then, it's just been kind of my main tool.
Yeah.
So I do most of my stuff with my drone, but when I can't, then I roll out.
What do you fly?
I fly DJI Mavic.
Nice.
Yeah.
You like it?
Love it.
See, I want to get a drone, but I'll crash that fucker. It'll be in the air for about 10 seconds, and I'll hit a tree or a flagpole, and then I'll be out like $1,000.
See,
how many times have you crashed it?
I've crashed 3 times, I think.
Is it as catastrophic as I imagine it would be in my head, or are they pretty resilient?
It depends where you are. I mean, they've...
Like, I get if you crash it into, the side of a building or, into the lake.
Yeah.
You're kind of screwed. But, what happens if you were to, hit some, trees and
stuff? If you hit a tree, I had one that I was playing with the active track feature. And my brother was running up the street, and it started turning around and backing up, and it hit the tree. Oof. And it just kind of got stuck in the branch. And I was like, how do I get this out of here? So, I mean, we're sitting there.
Do you carry a fishing pole with you everywhere you go?
It was like a broomstick. We ran up the
street. Or
those
those little grabbers that old people use to get, the TV remote?
Yeah. It was a little higher than that, so we start shaking the tree a little bit. It fell. My brother caught it, so it was fine. So
have you ever completely busted one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh god, that's gotta be hard.
It's terrible. Yeah.
You have a little funeral for it. Do you just trash it, or do you keep the old ones for memory? Just for purpose?
I still have them. I don't know what to do with them. I'm just like,
hang on to them. Maybe you can make a cool art piece with them or something like that. Turn it into a coffee table or
yeah.
Well, we're gonna be talking about visual stories and visual storytelling, and. For the listeners who don't really know what visual storytelling is or visual stories are, this is the Wikipedia definition. A visual story is a visual narrative told primarily through the use of visual media. This can be images in the mind, digital, and traditional media. The story may be told using still photography, illustration, or video. It can be enhanced with graphics, music, voice, other audio. Basically what, you and I do, my YouTube vlogs, Instagram stories, your drone footage, all of your pictures. It's basically telling a story. I've always said it's much easier to tell a story or show someone what you see versus trying to explain something to someone. Well, what's the stupid saying? A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
That's why I love visual storytelling, because you can share a perspective and a mindset and something that you see that other people might not, in a way that is accessible and they can comprehend versus, typing a 2,000 word essay about, oh, the Hone Bridge is beautiful in this view, and like you don't really get it. But when you see one of Nate's drone videos, well, now you understand. People see what you see.
Right.
Right. How do you describe for you what is a visual story?
For me, you can tell people how great a place is or anything, but until you can actually show them, I think people, kind of underestimate what you tell them. Because people, can bend words in any which way they want,
right.
And you've heard every place is amazing, incredible. But
Bismarck, North Dakota's awesome. You got to go. And
right.
It's like, boy, you're going to have to give me more than that.
Right. And if you can show me,
right.
then I'm more likely to be there. You can also twist photos to make them, more appealing too. And I've been accused of doing that. But also, Milwaukee actually is a beautiful city.
It really is.
You just have to, you have to get past the ground level BS seen on day to day.
Which every city has that.
Yeah.
I've been to all 50 states, virtually every major city in the United States. And like I say it unobjectively, like Milwaukee is literally one of the best cities that I think I've ever been to. And not just because it's like small and condensed and we have the lake and beer and great restaurants and museums and stuff, but like the people are amazing. There's just something about people in the Midwest and like Wisconsin in general where it's like they're not uptight pricks like in New York, and they're not, just in their own world like in LA. It's just the people here are amazing from every single corner, not even just downtown.
Right.
And like for me, when I would do the vlog, I just love sharing those people's stories, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So, when you're capturing the city and, you're putting together a sick drone video of like some of the crazy sunsets that we've had lately, or I believe you did one you did a really cool one during the NBA championship for the Bucks of like the Pfizer Forum and stuff like that. And you've always been there for really important events like the Hone and all that stuff. What are you trying to say when you're capturing this stuff and you're sharing it? Are you looking just for like likes and clout, or is there something you're trying to say or convey?
I've never been motivated by likes or clout. That's just not something that's ever like. I know people that are sitting there watching who's watching their stories. I'm not that person. I don't.
I'm that person.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't have time to
right.
be sitting there looking at stuff like that. Like I'm not going to analyze the analytics and whatnot. Sometimes I'll open it just to see what
Sure.
is increased momentum or not.
Did Giannis watch my Pfizer Forum?
I wouldn't even see that. I just never opened
Oh,
that.
you're missing out.
Yeah.
It's actually shocking how many people like will view your stuff if like you look. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So for me, it's all like, how do I just keep outdoing myself next time? It's more of a creative thing. It's a creative outlet. So how do I go out and create something that's better than what I created last time?
Sure.
Sometimes sunsets help with that. But I also like to keep a pulse on the city, like what's going on this week, what can I get out and capture?
Sure.
And obviously I can't always be there. Sometimes I'll get it.
But it feels like you are, though.
Yeah.
I feel like every time there's like a big event or something's going on, like my old vlog days pop in, I'm like, oh man, I gotta grab my stuff and go downtown and do this. And I never do. But you're always there. You're there for, I feel like, 99% of everything.
Yeah, no, the thing is, the worst days are when I'm at work, 2 to 10 or something, and then people are like, oh my God, do you see the sunset outside? And I'm like, no, I'm in the back of a Walgreens right now. Like, don't tell me
that.
I don't want to know.
Right?
Like somebody last year was like, oh, the fog downtown is so sick right now. I'm like, I hate this.
Those are bangers.
Yeah,
and they're bangers.
I know, and I know I'm just like missing out on it.
I know for me, at least for me, what I was always trying to say, like with the vlog and stuff, was I always wanted to show like a perspective of the city that people who live here or tourists might not otherwise see. A different angle of something, a spot that they'd never seen before. And you've always done a really cool job of capturing the city visually in a way that sometimes you look at it and you're like, I know that's Milwaukee, but why doesn't it look like Milwaukee? Why does it look so different or so much more substantial? And I personally really appreciate creators who are able or who have an eye to capture the city in a different way than just someone with their phone that just pops on. Oh, look, I'm in front of Pfizer Forum. You just have a knack for finding really creative, cool angles and just bringing a new perspective. Is that something that you sort of set out to do, like when you're trying to capture the city, or does it just happen?
So for me, I am always keeping an eye on what's new, what's exciting. So like when new buildings are going up, I subscribe to the Business Journal. I'm just like, okay, what's coming? What's coming? So I kind of keep an eye on that. And as soon as like a new building has lighting, like the Trade Hotel has brilliant lights on it. So obviously that's a new angle of Pfizer Forum that you can capture that shows some more density, some more lights, and more activity. So for me, it's always keeping an eye on what's new, what's changing, and then how can I capture this in a unique angle. But I feel like once I do that, it's like I'm unlocking a level, because then I'll start to see like other people follow suit and do the same thing. It's just interesting.
It's cool, and it's really neat too, because people like us, we know like sort of what's going on a minute to minute, day by day basis in the city. And a lot of people are they're busy with their families and work. And it's not that they don't care, but they don't have the time to keep up to date. And so, when you share something like a drone footage of the contour going up, people are shocked. They're like, holy, I didn't even know that was being built. Or two, like, look how high it's already getting. And that sort of documentation, is that something that like you really enjoy capturing and sharing?
Yeah, I think anytime you see cranes in the sky, there's progress. I remember hearing a line a long time ago: if your city's not growing, it's dying.
Yeah.
And that's always stuck with me. Like, I mean, the city's always got to be changing. If it's not, it's going to be fizzling out.
Right.
So
Detroit.
You see a lot of Detroit's actually got some impressive projects going up too.
They're moving up right now again.
Yeah, I know there's bigger issues there, but yeah, they're downtown. They're investing a lot of money into new towers too. So I like where Milwaukee's at, though. I think we're in a really good place.
I love it. I remember back when the Northwestern Mutual Tower was being built. Like, it's always cool to like go on my YouTube channel and like see like when it was just like the first ground level floor and like watching that get built. And it's so cool now getting a chance to not have to like daily vlog and sort of seeing other people take over for the city and starting to get to see. I never got to really experience a lot of like the hop being developed and a lot of the new towers and stuff, because I was always out there like filming it. It's one of those where you're like your face is buried in your phone and lens. Right. Life kind of flies by you. It's really cool now to sort of live vicariously through you and like a lot of the other creators and see the city the way that people saw it when I was capturing it.
Yeah.
And it's just so dope. And so it's one of the reasons why I gravitated towards you instantly. As soon as like I saw your content and met you, I was like, oh, this dude's making awesome stuff. And you even have captured things that I didn't even know were like under construction or being redone. And like, I appreciate that, because like I feel like I know fucking everything about this city. So it's like I keep big tabs on you, because like, I mean, you're almost like your own like little news station.
Yeah. In a way.
How important is it, you think, for cities to have storytellers and visual storytellers? Like, do you think it makes a difference doing the sorts of things that we do, or is it?
I think it keeps people, if I'm keeping my like pulse on the city and keeping the pulse of the city myself, I think you see other people, and especially in bigger cities, you see people doing that. I follow a bunch of photographers from New York and LA, and there's always new construction going up in those cities. So it's really interesting to watch how those cities are changing. I've got a lot of people I follow from Vegas too.
Nice.
There's so much construction going on, and it's interesting to see how those cities are developing. I'm a big like nerd about cities. Like, I love seeing how they develop and like how they change over time, and are they meeting the needs of the people? So like the mayor working on narrowing all the streets here to help pedestrian safety. That's huge. What are other cities doing?
Right.
What can we replicate here? What's working there that we could bring here?
And it's you're totally right too, because it's like when you share that stuff, it becomes like infectious with other creators. They share it, and then all of a sudden Milwaukee might do something cool and get a bunch of attention off of a video or something that you made, and another city might see that and be like, oh my God, that's a great idea, or vice versa.
Right.
And so, I mean, for me, I think that sort of visual storytelling is huge for a city because you never know what's going to pop off. A lot of times you can get funding for things that, like, when people start showing a general interest, and particularly creators start showing a general interest in something, it puts attention on whatever it is that they're sharing. You know, like right now the big thing is tearing down 794,
right?
Because it's a fucking giant monstrosity that just segregates the city, and it's ugly. And you know, just seeing your videos and drone videos of other creators, you see it and you're like, yep, that needs to go right now. And I really believe that that's whether it's a small or a big part of the push, but I think if it ever inevitably does happen, I think it's going to be a huge part of it, because you can tell people 794 does this or it's bad, but when you see it and you're like, God, that looks like crap, it really helps. It gives context.
Yeah, and people are still struggling to visualize what it would be like without it. So it's still trying to, like, how do you explain, like, you're not going to lose the connection to Bayview, you're still going to keep the home and that, but like
you're just going to have to drive a couple more blocks.
Yeah, through
takes you
traffic.
nowhere.
No. I mean,
it did take me here today when I got off of Plankton, but other than that.
But would you be willing to sacrifice 2 minutes
exactly.
extra, you know?
Well, so look at, I can't even remember where the old Sydney High building was. There was a whole, like, freeway part right there that they ripped out. Where, like, Pfizer Forum and all that is.
Where the trade is, yeah.
That was a whole, people were freaking out when that was gone now. And it's like, well, now look what we have. Yeah. Pfizer Forum, Modern, and, like, all the stuff that's right there.
Yeah.
And so
the new public museum's going right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got opportunity.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, no.
And you're totally right. It's like, drive a couple more blocks. It's worth losing the visually how terrible it is. And it's going to open up spots for real estate, small businesses, parks, all kinds of stuff.
You always wonder, you know, like, you look at cities like Vancouver where they never built an urban freeway. And
I'm going to be there in August.
Is thriving, yeah. So you moved down to Canada now, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like, you see where these cities are, you know, density. Like, had we not destroyed half of our city to build these freeways, where would the city be? It would have been way more walkable, way more, you know, we could have been reinvesting
100%
all the space, you know.
The public transportation in Milwaukee is definitely, it leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah.
But they're trying to do something about it, you know. The wider bike lanes and foot lanes and the hop and all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to go a long way a decade from now.
I think once the hop is in the couture and people see like how modern it is,
it's going to be dope. Watching that thing go in there and then, like, go grab, like, a coffee or get a drink or a beer. I don't know what's going to be in there. But
I mean, I was looking at the Summerfest, like, transportation plans, and I was like, it doesn't really mention the hop. It does, but like, very loosely. I think next year it's going to change.
That's going to be huge. I mean,
that's how I got to Summerfest.
Think of all the
last
parking that's by, like, intermodal. You can go park your car there, hop on the hop, and then take it right down to Summerfest.
Yep.
Or the Art Museum or Discovery World. I mean, that's a whole area that's, in my opinion, even living here, is super inconvenient as far as an accessibility standpoint. Like, you have to literally walk across the world's most idiotic intersection. And so I think it's going to be really cool once they develop all that stuff and you can actually cross Lincoln Memorial and then enjoy everything that's on the lakefront.
Yeah, I'm excited for the hop to get to Bronzeville too.
Yes.
Bronzeville's new iteration is going to be incredible. I think once that area is built up, it's crazy over there now. My barber's right over there.
Is it really?
It's crazy watching everything change. Everything's under construction.
I know. So what surprised you the most about Milwaukee's transformation over the last decade? Have you lived here? Or were you born and raised here?
I was born in Madison area.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I moved here for undergrad. Went to UWM.
Nice.
Went to Illinois for pharmacy school. Knew the job market there sucked, so I came back here, and now I work here, and it's been good. So
what have you seen? So how long have you been in Milwaukee?
Milwaukee. Well, I started school in 2008.
Okay.
So quite a while.
Yeah. So what have you seen? What's the biggest change you've seen in the last 10 years?
I don't think the biggest. I mean, there's been a lot of physical changes, but I think just the way that the city's been seen in the eyes of the people living here. I think there was a lack of community pride, and then all of a sudden, I think right around 2010, 2011, 2012, everything started changing, and that's when the couture was announced. That's when Northwestern Mutual started building their thing. Yeah, and I thought that was going to be the beginning. but I feel like we're just at the beginning now.
I agree.
So I'm just
agree.
like, this is weird to say because I felt like that was the beginning of the transformation, but now it's like, okay, no, now we're actually
now
like,
things are really
now we're rolling.
ramping
Yeah,
up.
now you got cranes all over the skyline. And you're like 30-story towers are being announced every other week.
Right.
It's just like, okay, the city's just getting started.
I agree. I definitely agree. It's super interesting watching like my old vlogs from like 2014, 2015, and just looking at like the city skyline.
There was nothing going on back
There was nothing going on.
I mean, there was a lot going on, but it was just the very, very beginning.
Well, I know. And it's like, there's so much stuff that's like unrecognizable. I can't even use any of the pictures that I've taken from back then. Like sharing them now would be ridiculous. There's like 20 missing buildings.
Does it bother you when you see like news agencies use old photos of the city?
Yes, pisses me off. Yeah, or where there's like 10 missing buildings, or like what was it? I think it was the NBA Finals
when ESPN is using the old Northwestern Mutual building.
And I was like, "What? Come on, man!" Like
I get tagged every single time. They're like, "Reach out to Nate. Reach out to Nate. He's got
it's
photos."
Like, dude, I'll literally give you a free photo. You don't even have to pay me anything. Just post something within the last 5 years. It's like, oh my God, you really posted that? Oh, it broke my heart. But it's really been dope seeing the city skyline changing, just seeing everything that's happened. Even in the last,
the motivation of people,
yes.
You know, people are so excited about change finally. And,
oh,
you know, everyone was so like, the first thing I heard about Northwestern Mutual's tower when they built it was like, I can't believe they're going to build that. It's going to ruin the skyline.
Oh, I know.
I was like, what do you mean?
What skyline? There is nothing. We have the U.S. Bank Tower, and that's it. And then there's like on Prospect, like a couple like, and that's it. There's no, we don't have a skyline. What are you talking about?
Get out of here. And now you wouldn't go back.
Right.
You would never go back.
What I always find funny about Northwestern Mutual Tower 2 is like, come in on like 20 different directions in the city, and like 85% of the time it's hidden by U.S. Bank Tower.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just funny. Like you can come in on the freeway and like no matter how you move your head, like you can't see it. And I'm like, boy, if they would have just moved it over like a couple feet.
Yeah, I do like how it looks taller than the U.S. Bank building.
I know, but I think it's like
it's 50 feet shorter.
Yeah. I really want. Have you ever been up to the? There's like it's not a public observatory, but
no, I haven't been up there.
Go up there so bad. I need to. I'm sure I know somebody that knows somebody that could get me up there. But after I almost got busted back in my vlogging days, we snuck up to the 38th floor of U.S. Bank Tower, and then security there's a whole vlog on it on my YouTube channel. You can find it. And then security found out and basically started shutting the elevators down one by one to trap us up there, and we made it all the way back down. I was like, yeah, I'm like 40 years old. I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Right. No, I'm pretty sure you know somebody now that could get you up there.
Back in 2014 when I really started vlogging and doing Snapchats, and sort of sharing my experience and the way that I saw the city. There was like very few, if any, photographers or filmmakers. I was like the only YouTuber. Mm-hmm. How have you seen the enthusiasm from creators change over the last 5 or 10 years? Because now it feels like everybody's got a drone. Everybody's taking pictures. The city's it's celebrated by so many different kinds of people and creators, and it's so awesome. And it's like, I wish it was like that back then, because I probably have way more friends now. But like, what is it like to sort of just see that pomp and circumstance and enthusiasm from creators? And like, is there anyone else that you follow that you envy or that you really enjoy what they're doing? And
I mean, it's interesting because I feel like I've been doing this for so long. You see so many people pop up, and then they'll be like in it for a year and a half, 2 years, and then all of a sudden they just fall off the radar, and I'm like, where the hell did this person go? But it's really interesting to see how other people and other creatives are capturing the city. There are things that are motivating to me, but I usually try to tune into other cities to see what other creatives and other cities and metros are doing, because I don't want to be doing something that somebody else here is doing.
Ooh, I
want to do something that somebody
different
else
that makes you stand out.
I want to take inspiration from a creator somewhere else that's doing something really cool and epic in another place, and then bring that energy and that kind of excitement back here.
There's a really cool, I can't remember his name, and maybe you do. He flies a drone. He's from Madison. I think he's from Madison.
Sam?
Yes.
Family? Yeah,
he makes really, really cool stuff. I've never met him before, but I think we follow each other on Twitter. But I'd love to meet him. He does some really, really cool stuff. And he's a guy that, like, as far as I know, was like one of the first people, visual storytellers in Madison.
Yeah, he does an incredible job.
Yeah. And I was just like, wow, you make Madison look dope. And I love that kind of stuff because Milwaukee's it's a decent sized city, but it's not huge. You know, it's not Chicago or, you know, New York.
I wouldn't change that.
No,
So I
love
like
it.
I don't get lost. I don't get lost in the sauce in Chicago.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Like, it's just like, all right,
Exactly.
I feel like I've got a platform here, whereas in Chicago, you've got a million other people. You know,
doing that. You're competing with a million other people trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's much. I've always said. I always get like pissed off when other creators are like, yeah, when you move to New York or LA or Chicago, and I'm like, all you're gonna find there is just more people trying to do the same thing, more competition. Here in Milwaukee, you can stand out.
Yeah.
Like that's how I got found. I got my fucking job at cost through my YouTube channel. Like that's not going to happen in New York City or LA or here. You can really be seen as a creator and really stand out.
The opportunities and the networking I've been able to do, and now like
you've been on the news. You were just on the news.
Yeah.
I mean, you're featured all the time.
Yeah.
Put you in LA.
Yeah.
And there's 1,000 other people doing the same thing.
Right.
You're not going to be on the news. You're not going to get the sort of recognition and fanfare that you've gotten here.
Right.
Not that you're doing it for that.
Right.
But as a creator, it is nice to be recognized for what you do.
It is. And I always wonder though, like, what is this going to do for I'm not chasing likes or anything. So what does it actually matter? But it's really cool to get your name out there. And,
for sure.
The coolest things that I've gotten is like restaurants have reached out and they're like, hey, I'd love to have your photos in my place. So
and that's cool.
It's really cool because then people from other places and other methods are going to see your artwork.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if they're not on social media
and get inspired by it,
yeah,
they may fall in love with the city in a way that they otherwise wouldn't have because of what you do, and you bring pride to this city, in a way that can't happen without the video and the sort of visual element of it.
Right.
And that's why I've always enjoyed, making videos and doing drone stuff and time lapses and all that crap, because it's just like people see that and they're like, that's my city. That picture's dope. I mean, it's crazy. You post a thirst trap of Milwaukee on Twitter, and you just put the word Milwaukee in it. I mean, it'll pop off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've realized if I don't put Milwaukee in there, it doesn't do anything.
100% you have to. Can't use a link, and you have to have the word Milwaukee in it.
Can't take
and
you can't tag a handle in there.
No, God, no, don't take anything. But just something like, oh man, I was just a random Milwaukee. If I were to post a picture, even a garbage ass iPhone picture, and said random Tuesday Milwaukee thirst trap, guarantee you minimum 500,000 likes. Guaranteed. I can get in like an hour. I would fucking bet if it was a line in Vegas, I'd bet 10-1.
Right.
And that really goes to show how many people, because it's not like Milwaukee's huge on Twitter, it really goes to show how many people take pride in this city,
right,
and they see that kind of stuff.
Even visitors have been like, I've been there, or like, then you get the comments that are like, oh, I can't wait to go visit.
Yes,
like, oh,
that's
so cool.
The best is when you post a video or a photo and tourists are like, that's Milwaukee. Well, I did that stupid one of I said a random picture of Fiji. Oh wait, this is Milwaukee or whatever, and like that one got, I think I'm up to like 3,400 likes, but like people in the comments are like, I need to get to Milwaukee. I didn't even know. I thought the lake was just this little. And so, like, you're right. Like, people who don't even live here might want to travel here.
Right.
So you're not just posting, just random videos and stuff. People could come here and spend money. They could move here or be inspired to like get a job here.
People have been like, "Oh, hey, your posts have inspired us to look at Milwaukee as a place to move." And then they're like, "Hey, can you?" The guy happened to be a pharmacist.
Oh.
And he's like, "Hey, do you know any connections?" I was like, "Yeah, I do."
And so, people can look at what you and I do and other creators like us do and go, oh, they're chasing likes, or they're just photographers or filmmakers or drone whatever. No, you can actually bring cold hard cash to the city and eyes to the city, in a way that you can't with an article or word of mouth or something. And so, I guess for my next question for this conversation is, what would you say to a young photographer or filmmaker or someone who wants to get in, buy their first drone, but they live in friggin' Bismarck, North Dakota, or Albuquerque, New Mexico, or somewhere where they think this isn't Chicago, this isn't Philadelphia. Like what should I capture? What advice would you give someone? What creative advice would you give them to capture whether they live in the middle of nowhere and there's farms, or they live in a small city that has little tiny 2-story buildings?
I mean, for me, I think you can find beauty in anything, you know? So
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love architecture myself, but like also like some people find farms beautiful. So like if you're out in the middle of nowhere in the middle of a cornfield, you find
beautiful
a farm,
sunset,
like good sunset. I mean,
you got that.
You can
they
do
got
anything.
that smoke from Canada rolling in. You can
Yeah.
get some banging sunsets.
Yeah. I know some drone photographers here. They're like, I'm trying to figure out, my space and kind of figure out what I want to do. And he's like looking into like doing agricultural shots and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I mean, there's a huge market
They can be
for
beautiful.
that. Yeah.
You know what the world's most popular wallpaper was? Bliss from Windows XP.
Yeah, right.
And there wasn't a skyscraper in that fucking thing.
Right. So, I mean, for me, I love architecture in cities. So that's kind of my lane that I stay in. But other people find inspiration in other things.
Sure.
And every city's got its own
100%.
unique viewpoints and things that make them special. I mean, every city's got was built around usually water.
Yeah.
So you
Unless you're in Kansas or Nebraska.
I mean, there's still rivers there.
That is true.
So,
hey, rivers are pretty.
Yeah.
Mississippi's a river.
So you can find reflections, or there's always a way to find.
Really? Do you ever, whenever you're out, even if you don't have like a camera or anything with you, are you ever somewhere that like at first glance might look dilapidated or just like run down, and then all of a sudden you like turn your head and you're looking at something just right and you're like, man, and you see something, like you just see a beautiful angle or just something about it, and you're like, if I were to take a picture of that, people would be like, wait, hold on, what, where are you?
Yeah.
Have you ever
I mean,
come across that?
Even the construction sites, I posted a few weeks ago. I was like, sometimes I challenge myself with, how pretty can I make this construction list look? And people were like going crazy over it. Somebody from Findorf reached out and was like, hey, not sure if we have anything for you to work on right now, but would love to link up and just get to know you in case some opportunities come up in the future. And I was like, yeah, okay,
and it's dope. And that's definitely a special trait that someone like you has that not everybody has. But it's so cool when you do see the things that other people don't see. And I think whether it's on a macro scale or a micro scale, you're able to just capture things and capture the city in a way that other people just can't see, can't comprehend. And I think it's just dope. I think I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So what's your favorite piece of gear that you got?
The drone, obviously.
From your cold, dead hands, they'll have to pry it.
Yeah, I mean, winter sucks flying it, but
sure. Why does it? It's just because the air is like.
Oh, your fingers are like literally.
Oh yeah, I
there.
suppose.
I do have heated gloves, but that doesn't always do it because you got to touch the screen, and it's a mess.
So the drone. Okay, so let's say you didn't have the drone.
Okay, so yesterday I shot an NHL player's house for like. Ooh. I don't know if he's selling it or what's going on, but anyway, I have my tripod. The tripod's awesome.
Okay. The tripod. Well, hey.
I got
important.
a peak design one, and I was showing him yesterday. I was like, dude, I love this tripod.
Is it like a bougie tripod?
Yeah, it folds up so nice. I'm like, all right, this is sick. I don't know.
Tripods are hard. Like, I have yet to find the perfect tripod. They're always just, they don't fold up completely. Like,
look at peak design.
Peak design. Hold on. Let me write this down. Peak design tripod.
Yeah. I was showing him. I was just like,
so from drone to a tripod, those are your go-to.
Like,
no, hey,
it folds up so small. I'm just like, all right. Like when I go on vacation, I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'm just throwing this in my bag. Like,
oh, I like that. My
small.
tripod's freaking huge, and I hate it.
Yeah, no, because they've always got the awkward little lever thing.
Yeah.
No, this doesn't have that. So.
Gotcha. I think mine. It sounds dumb, but my favorite piece of equipment is my phone. I don't know why.
Phone. I don't even consider that equipment. That's just
right. It's funny because like I shoot photos and videos for a living.
Yeah.
And there isn't a single picture on my Instagram feed that's from any of my expensive cameras. They're all iPhone photos.
Yeah. Okay.
And people are always like, I'll get companies and stuff and all kinds of people like, oh, can I buy that picture of whatever building or skyline? And I'm like, I don't know if it's going to print out that well.
I think depending what the use is, the quality now is probably good enough.
It's close. I have a couple programs that use like AI and machine learning that can like enlarge and clean images up that actually work surprisingly well. I had to use it. So if you go inside BMO Harris Tower, the new like big glass one, and you go in their gym, it's giant floor to ceiling canvases of stuff from downtown that I've shot, and I had to use the program to like blow it up because like I'd shot it on. I can't even remember what camera I had, but I think it was only like a 20 megapixel, and these were like, I mean, these were it's taller than the room that we're in now, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's gonna work. So like, I had to import these babies, and they were like massive. I think each file was like 3,500 gigs, like 3.5 gigs, and
you'd be surprised though. I've blown up photos, and the website would be like, "This is the maximum file size," and I'm like, "What do you mean? Like this isn't big enough?"
Yeah.
And then you get
35 megs is the only. What are you talking about?
You get the product, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. It actually turned out better than I thought it would." So I mean, sometimes I'm surprised.
What's your favorite? And you and I have yapped about this. I've slid in your DMs and gone on my stupid diatribes. What's your favorite social media platform? That you like to share your content on. Like if you can only do one, you can only pick one.
So for me, it really depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. Like, so
that wasn't the question.
I know. Like,
is there one in particular that like either you prefer just how like your feed looks and how you can connect with people visually? Is there one where you found a lot of like business and connection success on?
I like the feed thing with Instagram. Instagram's probably the most. I don't even know how to put it, but like being able to see all the photos and images and the reels are a separate tab. And, I think I've had more people message me through there. But if I'm looking to have like a genuine conversation about the city and like changing, then I'm going to Twitter.
Yeah. Instagram's a little. So Instagram is actually apparently working on a sort of like text-based feed that's going to be like in another tab on Instagram. Just like Twitter, which I'm kind of excited about. Like you'll be able to post like, I think like 4 photos and basically like what Twitter is, but it won't be a separate app. It'll live inside Instagram. And I'm going to be really curious how that works because as Instagram has gone away from photography and gone to reels and videos of people synchronized shuffle dancing and dogs catching bones.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited to see what they do for creators and photographers.
So when Reels, they were doing that little incentive thing to post Reels. Yeah. So that kind of encouraged me to post more Reels. Since then, I haven't really, done much Reel posting. Also, I bought a new drone that has super cool zoom technology. So I've been posting a lot more photos, and the photos have been performing rather well. So
nice.
I don't think it's gone completely away from photos. I think it depends what photos you're posting. Like, are you staying relevant? Like when I posted the trade photos, those went off. Like it was just photos. It wasn't video or anything. And people were eating it up.
Nice.
And I still get notifications. So I posted probably a month ago.
Nice.
And it's like, this is your top performing post recently. Do you want to promote it? And I'm like, no. I'm good.
I used to love Instagram, but now I think it's just because I post more stories than I do pictures. The algorithm just feeds because I get like, I've told you, like I probably get 500-600 views on like every stupid story. It could be a video of my feet, but like I posted a picture the other day and I think I got 3 likes. I'm like, what the hell?
See,
I don't understand it. And then Twitter, I'll get hundreds and thousands of likes on stuff. I just don't understand it because it's like
I don't know. I feel like
pisses me off.
The Milwaukee network on Twitter is very, responsive too. So
I
think that
true.
helps. So I think depending what your content is, it's going to matter where you post it. So
I also post the most random shit on Twitter. Like I don't have any sort of visual. It could be a picture of a candy bar, the skyline, a selfie.
That's
my
the
cat.
cool thing about Twitter is like it's here for 1 minute and it's gone. But Instagram it hangs out for a while. So
totally,
unless you're posting daily and multiple times, then it's going to fall off the feed.
Totally.
But yeah, Twitter, you can drop something and then, talk about it for a day and it's gone.
Yeah.
So, like, I keep posting Ferris wheel.
Dude,
People love it, though.
I saw that today and I was like, man, that'd be so awesome.
I throw out that idea every, 6 months just to see where people's heads are at. And I think every time I get it, people are getting more excited about it. This could work.
There has to be, a deck out there that, explains the, financial viability of a Ferris wheel in a city. Yeah. Like how much money does London's make or Chicago's
Caitlin sent me a link and she's like, look, this is just a drop in the bucket. We could get a used one for $90,000 or something.
A used Ferris wheel for $90,000? I'll buy right now.
Right.
Well, Milwaukee pays for installation.
I'm thinking Ferris wheel Pier Marquette. You got the hop line.
Yes.
Supposed to go right by there. Convention center's right there. Deer District's right there.
Put a beer garden right there.
Right in front
Boom.
of it. Live music occasionally.
Bam. Snow cone stand. Yeah. Done. Mimes.
Historical Society. You could have the ticket sales right there. It's right there. I mean,
I honestly think that's a great idea.
Yeah. You got all these hotels right there. Walking distance. different view in Milwaukee.
So dope. I also love that one you posted with the mountains in it.
Mountains, oh, yeah. Hey.
I was like, oh.
AI is interesting. I didn't have time to play with it. I'm sitting there last night playing with it. I was like, okay, let me see if I can get some mountains in here. And I'm throwing it together. I'm looking outside. I'm like, the sunset might go off. I'm like, Brutus, my dog. I'm like, dude, we gotta go to the car. And I threw that photo on my phone, and I was like, here, this is what I got. I don't even care if it's like clean or anything. I'm just throwing it up there and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know? People seem to love that too. Like, oh my god, I would move back to Milwaukee if
it had mountains. Definitely not gonna happen unless there's an asteroid.
Right. People are like, I like it. Let's build it now.
Right.
Like,
how can we make fake ones? Hey, you know what? Vegas would do it. They'd build fake mountains if they had. I mean, they don't have to, but they'd build that crap. They build dumber stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in the Vegas's and the is it the Link? Their Ferris wheel?
Yeah.
Dude, those pods,
they're incredible.
They don't even look that big until you actually get within like a couple feet. And then you walk in it and you're like, oh yeah, you could fit 30 people in this.
My question is in the bar pod.
Yeah.
What if you have to pee? Like you're in that thing for a while.
Because I've been in one of those, and you're basically SOL. So you
it's like a good
gotta
solid,
take a
like
leak
45 minutes hour.
Yep.
Like, you know.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, boy, is there any chance I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom?
Right.
Because you'll definitely probably have like 1 or 2 drinks on that whole thing at least. Yeah. And so it's like if even you remotely have to go to the bathroom, go.
Yep.
But that thing is super, super, super cool.
Dubai just built a bigger one.
Right.
I mean,
are you serious?
I mean, I'm not going for a bigger one here. I just, I think a good size one.
How can you build a bigger Ferris wheel than that?
It's
just bigger.
Okay.
you can fit 60 people in each one.
Yeah, it's got cool lights on it too. I don't know. Yeah, they have like a whole dining room table in like one of the pictures, and I'm like, dang, okay, people are having whole like parties.
Oh my god! Yeah, oh my gosh, have your bar mitzvah there.
Yeah,
right. So where do you see? Final question: where do you see Milwaukee 10 years from now? We've kind of talked about where we've been, where we are. Where do you think we're going as a city? In how do you want to capture that, or how are you going to adjust, and what's your excitement level for
I'm super excited about the future of the city. I think right now the momentum is just piling on, and it's just like the cart's going faster and faster and faster. I mean, like we talked about earlier, Northwestern Mutual I thought was the beginning, and I don't even think it was. I think that was a drop in the bucket, but now things are really rolling. I think people are going to start to realize, like I said, with Summerfest and whatnot, with the hop going to the lakefront, they're going to realize that there is a value to that, and then hopefully there can be some expansion. The city has to find its way to, get past the politics of everything.
Yes.
Once that happens, and I think we're on our way to solving that. I think the mayor's done a great job.
Sure.
I think things will continue to just roll.
Totally.
So, and then in terms of like equity, I think Bronzeville is going to be huge.
Yes, I
think
agree.
It's going to be a huge creative hub for the African American community.
Yes,
and I think it's going to help
desperately needed.
I think it's going to build a connection to the rest of the city too, and just become a highlight of the city.
We need to start linking some of these neighborhoods that aren't fully connected with the downtown area, which is typically what. When you think of a city, you think of their downtown area.
Yeah.
And I mean, you beautifully stated it. Like, it's going to be great to see areas like that just as Milwaukee expands out and pulls other areas in. They have a lot to value talent wise, entertainment wise, business wise, creative wise. I'm super jacked for
There's
all that.
so many creatives like that have moved since to LA, and like I know I'm friends with a producer on Twitter and Instagram. He loves sharing my stuff here, but he's left the city, and I'm like, okay, dude, like I would love to, like whatever you can do, like bring that energy back here.
Yeah.
Like we need that creative juice here.
Yes.
And the more people you can pull back here and show that you're investing in your own community and whatnot, I think that's starting to happen. People are like, okay, Milwaukee's, turn the page.
They're taking us seriously.
Yeah. I think once we can get that energy all kind of back here, things will be really, really cool.
Absolutely.
So
I really think a lot of the visual things with the city, like Pfizer Forum and all of the architecture and buildings that are going up and parks and stuff being built, I think that's really made a big impact. I think the Bucks championship has put eyes on the city.
Yep.
RNC, DNC. Well, we ended up not getting the DNC. God, that would have been dope. But just you can definitely tell that Milwaukee's on the radar now. Not only like in this country, but globally. And I think that's huge. Like I never take for granted the fact that, we're a growing city and we're not in decline, like we just keep going up and up and up and up. And like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
No. I think the next key for the city is keep putting the pedal down on downtown, but also you need to start investing in these neighborhoods. Yes. Libraries have done an incredible job creating, community gathering spaces throughout the 100%. City and the neighborhoods, but build on that. I think each commercial corridor could be like a Shorewood. Like Shorewood's done an incredible job transforming itself.
I used to live on Oakland. My God, it's unrecognizable.
Right. I'd love to see that happen on like Burleigh and Center Street. Like there's so many opportunities like add a grocery store to these places. Make each one of them a walkable area, connect 100%. Them all via streetcar. Boom.
And I don't even think it would be ridiculously expensive. It would be the ROI on it would be such a good investment.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, yeah.
Dude, this has been a fun little conversation. Yeah. I was so jacked to that you said yes to come on here because I love talking about Milwaukee. I love nerding out over capturing Milwaukee and just how other creators share their stories. So I really appreciate you coming on the show. Where can people find you?
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Walgreens
handle. Walgreens. Yeah, you need your next COVID shot or you give COVID shots.
Yeah, we do COVID shots. At Nate Vomhof is where you're gonna find me.
Nice, dude. Thank you so much. Keep killing it. Keep being I hate the word, but keep being a cheerleader for this city. We need it, and you've done some amazing stuff, and I know you're going to continue to capture and do amazing things for the city. It's much needed, and I love being able to just kind of sit back in my recliner now and watch other people do some of the things that I really love doing, and it makes my heart so warm to just see you and other creators.
Your days aren't done yet either here.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the energy anymore. Dude, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.